we have 6? All right, we'll come to order here at
7:32.
7:32. Thank you. Did you have to sprint here? Mm-hmm. Okay, good man. You have the roll call.
I do. Would you like me to announce alternates?
Sure.
Mr. Zaid is an alternate appointed as a full voting member due to the absence of Ms. Narrow, and Mr. Wilson as an alternate is appointed as a full voting member due to the absence of Ms. Gleason.
And that means no food tonight.
No food.
Well, gee, if you called me, I couldn't come.
So tough to be us.
Darn. Bad timing.
No dinner for you.
All right.
Make it quick.
So the first. So the one night that he doesn't come with. All right. Anyway, approval of the Conservation Commission minutes from last month.
Do we want to do agenda first?
Oh yeah, let's do the agenda. Why not?
The only change that I had was the next meeting should be June 4th, not May 7th. So I've already
She
did
got
that.
stuck on the 7th
I
thing.
did.
All right. So with that minor change to the agenda, motion to approve.
So move.
Second.
Second.
Discussion.
Yes, could you put up bills early on, because I have to leave.
Yes, sir. I will do that.
I'm using that bill, I'm worried.
Because Mr. Gelson has to leave early, we'll adjust to maintain a quorum for important business, so we'll move it one step from the back. So, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Excellent. Okay. Approval of the Conservation Commission minutes of 4/2/19. I did not see anything. Then a motion to approve is presented.
So moved.
Second,
Second.
discussion. Hearing no corrections or addendums. All in favor?
Abstain.
And who abstained? Who abstained? You did? Okay.
He was not here.
That's
So,
only the second time that we've had known in 10 years. No pressure on me.
sorry. So let's go to subcommittee updates. Would you like to report on the event down at Roaring Brook, sir?
I did spike that out as letter C.
Well, we're gonna bounce around here a little. Okay, we'll call it the stewardship event then. An update,
Yes.
final discussion?
It ended up being very good. It also gave us a few clues what we need to do to improve the events in the future. As we all know, the weather was a thriller. We gave 9:30. It cut off, it still ran at 9:30, we quit. Guess what, it stopped raining at 9:30. It wasn't a bad day after that. And that's one thing that was interesting. The other thing that's most interesting, and again, it's a repeat message, roadside signs work.
Mhm.
We did a lot of advertising, the articles in the, notice in the East Haddam News for 3 or 4 weeks. We put up roadside signs in 2 locations. We also had other notices out, but the people who showed up were responding to a roadside sign that was at the property. Neighbors saw it and they came. How many? But it was a family, right?
Family and then two other guys.
Yeah, 2 other guys.
2 other guys. So that's what we got to do from now on. We got to have roadside signs,
All right.
particularly at the site and also out in other locations.
Multiple locations, yeah.
Because people, this once again, I learned a lesson. I know we're on tape, but I'm going to say it. People don't even read the East Haddam News. I think about 20% of the population, on a non-regular basis, I mean, it's a rotating basis, 20% reads it 1 week, another 20% reads it the other week. So it's not, we have to do it because it helps, obviously, but roadside signs are the most powerful means of advertising, particularly for functions like ours.
And especially for getting the neighbors interested and
Yeah.
involved. Yeah.
Right. And I had a few of the neighbors that live on Tater Hill, they're asking about it because I saw the sign, but they didn't show up. I guess I thought the rain was going to hold and they weren't going to, didn't come. So, and another thing is that there's a heck of a lot of work out there in Roaring Brook Preserve. There's a lot of work. I mean, we only got half the boundary marked. And we were going as fast as we could go.
Yep.
And So there's a lot of work out there, interesting place, the brook is really, down there with the flat next to the brook, in the corner, that's really like, that's beautiful.
Yeah.
The whole property
Area.
is really, especially down along
Really
the road,
nice
is
picnic
beautiful.
area.
Yeah, it is, it's beautiful.
Yeah.
Good campsite too, along the spring freshet, but it's a real nice place and there's a lot of work to be done. So, and the food worked out really well. I had food from multiple sources, so that was good too. And hopefully the folks have a good memory, they'll come back next time we do it. And the Boy Scouts participated, the Bile family was there, and along with one other guy, I forgot his name, but anyway, that was good. So it's like a business, we started, we gotta keep doing it. And it may take 3 years to really get a roll going, it may take 5 years, I don't know. But certainly, I think we all had a good time, and it's a good time of the year because the bugs weren't that bad. The bugs are horrible now, because I'm out trying to mow my fence lines at home, gee,
Yeah,
I wanna scream.
they're starting to bite too.
Yeah, I got
Yeah.
a welt on me now.
Yeah, they're getting right under my hat the other day when you're marking boundaries, so.
So it's real good, and we should do it again in September,
Okay, you wanna go September or October?
early October, I guess. The first weekend in October. Hopefully it won't be
Isn't that,
snowing then.
Is that Columbus Day?
Wait.
Hold it, what?
I have a drive at Macamudas that I'm leading, which means you have to trailer me.
Well, I can trail you, then I'll leave you.
What,
Can I come back and pick you up?
what's the date for?
Well, if we did it on a Saturday, it'd be the 5th.
Yeah, that's the day,
Fifth, Saturday.
I'm pretty sure, yeah.
Because I would think 12, well, I don't know, wait a minute here, it doesn't say when Columbus, Columbus Day is the 14th.
Okay,
Yeah.
because we have
So,
like the other,
I think Saturday, October 5th is a good time. I'll have to work out something with my wife as far as transporting horses.
Well, I mean, we could do the last, 28th of September if we wanted to, so.
Yeah.
Well, we have time to discuss it, but,
Yeah.
that general period, so.
And where would we be, back at Roaring Brook again?
Well, I think we're gonna have, Paul, we did that trail fairly quickly, actually,
We did.
and it's in really good shape. I
Yeah.
mean, do you think we could do the second part of that loop?
Oh, definitely.
So we could do the next work party there, because we all have all of Chagru that has not been done, as that
Right,
big
that-
property, so.
Right, and that's probably one we should,
That's one of the next ones we have to get to, I think, so.
Yeah.
So that might be a great one for the fall activities, so.
Chagru, you mean? Can we put a better parking lot in at Roaring Brook other than what we got now? It's what, 2 or 3 cars it can hold, that's it?
Yeah, well, I don't think we really need any more, do you think?
Well,
Well, the one that was put in there was put in by Northeast Utilities, so that's.
too bad the gate wasn't a little farther down.
Well, we could have the gate
that's a
moved.
good point.
You know, because we just moved the gate down and we.
Well, we could move the gate easy enough, I could have the town crew move the gate.
You know,
That'd be, I think that's a good idea.
we moved that down a little bit and we gained all we would need
Yeah,
without
we
costing us
could, we
anything.
could put a load or two of gravel in, and I wanna see if I can get NU to put something easier to walk on.
Yeah,
Or
that's.
something on top.
Yeah, yeah.
That would be real tough for the horse.
For horses or people, it's hard to walk on that stuff,
That's so
it's
big.
2 inch,
Yeah, it's meant for big trucks
yeah,
and bulldozers.
yeah, so.
Yeah, here's the thing about parking lots, folks. This is my opinion. I have some experience in this regard. If people are driving by for the first time to visit someplace and they're somewhat interested, but if they see a smaller parking lot, they're less likely to stop. If you see there's gonna be plenty of room, they'll pull in. And so we need to, I think moving the gate would be a great idea. Because right now, you drive by, you're not sure where to park. I got a car, or a truck I got lots of money invested in. I'm very reluctant to park in a precarious location, no matter how much I wanna get in there and walk see the brook. But so, move the gate, I think is something we should do, absolutely, definitely. Also, that reminds me, I've been driving by our other preserves and parking lots, and the one down at, up 82.
Rose
Oh,
Farm?
yeah, Rose Farm.
Rose Farm has got a car in there just about every weekend, or 2 cars in there.
Yeah.
Saturday and Sunday.
Yeah.
And the property down on the town line, Chapel Farm,
Oh, yeah.
that has got a car or two.
Oh, that's always busy. There's always
Some of the
people
cars
that,
are
you should
out.
see the trails down there. I mean, they're all beat down. There's no question.
Out of the state cars I've seen.
Oh, yeah.
Massachusetts, Rhode Island, Pennsylvania.
Interestingly, I talked to, I stopped at Two Wrestling Cats last week to get something, coffee or whatever, and I noticed some people that appeared to be hikers in front of me, so I started chatting with them, and they actually had come, they were from Westbrook, Niantic, Stonington, and Waterford. And they were actually, had hiked at the, off of Joshua Town Road, I'm not sure which reserve, one of them down there. It's really in Lyme, but they came up to East Haddam, and I was talking to them at length, and they love Sheepskin Hollow, and I told them about Hatchlot, and they said that's where they're gonna go next. So, in fact, I think they were some that I led on a hike there, so they couldn't remember where it was, but I gave them the links and everything, so. But people are coming here from all over the state to hike on our trails. I know we've been saying it for years now, but it is.
No, you get a place for them to stay.
Yeah.
Also, I got a feeling East Hampton people are gonna come in here as well, because I met a person, actually I've known her for years at work at Pratt, and MP, Janet Stanley. And she and her husband love to hike, they hike everywhere. And they've been to Sheepskin Hollow. For some reason they knew about Sheepskin Hollow, and they went there. So what I did, Charlotte got together all of our maps, and I gave her a whole package of the maps, and she sent me an email today. Wow, she was very impressed. She says, boy, they have nothing like that in East Hampton. Nothing. So.
And a lot of people don't know about what we have here.
Yeah.
It's
Well, they have the
amazing.
Airline Trail, which is, it's pretty nice.
Yeah,
Yeah, but it's almost too nicey nice, it's not real hiking.
no, that's just a walking trail.
I've been up
That's
there.
a walking, running
I've been up
trail.
there years ago, riding and also driving in my trail car, and it's like, my horse looks at it and goes, this is boring, there's no stumps and rocks and trees to dodge.
Until you get to the trestle, then you'll worry.
No, he wasn't worried.
No, I would be.
No.
But anyway, she was very impressed, and so she'll be, I'm sure she'll bring her friends down here too.
Good.
her family.
Todd, can I ask, did Brian Warman show up?
Yes.
Okay. And do we advertise this on Facebook?
Yep.
Yeah, it's on Facebook, it's everywhere.
It was
But the
on our
only-
website.
Website too.
The only feedback we got were from the roadside signs.
Yeah.
That was it.
Which is, I learned that 20 years ago. So people see you, you drive by, that's it.
Okay. Can you do IWWC?
I don't know, I haven't been in a long time.
Okay.
Not much, I read the minutes though. Not too much is going there, except for the shag bark is expanding, but that's been on the thing for quite a while.
Well, I guess they got the wetlands permit, but they're still dealing with some things from the state, so I don't know what they're gonna end up doing there, but. They want it, because it's two separate buildings, they're gonna be using the same septic system. Joe can talk about that later, but, sorry, Joe, take yours. But,
I wasn't gonna get into the septic system, so you're welcome to talk.
so, anyway, okay. Unless there's any objections, I'm gonna jump down to new bills.
You wanna start with this one?
Yep, any objections? So from the stewardship event, we have a bill for Olson Sanitation for $85 for the porta potty. So
I move that we pay the bill.
better, your name is on it.
Maybe I can't move it, guy's still.
Oh, you seconded?
Yeah.
Yeah. Discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Okay, good. Yeah, while we're doing bills, I'll do the rest of them here. Let's see, we'll hold that one because that's gonna have. So, a couple of these things are for information only. So we had Gates Surveying, Richard Gates, land surveyor, do the center line way back in this, actually in January, but the invoice got misplaced. But it doesn't come off our budget. because this is part of the grant that the land trust got through the 8 Mile, which is through the National Park Service, which is through a outdoor recreation program. But anyway, so that was $1,200 that was gonna come off of that, which has been paid. And we have a number of invoices for gravel, and I'm gonna tell you what they are. We have one for $2,034.88, but that's part of the grant also, so that will be paid from the grant, so it doesn't cost the Conservation Commission anything. And that was delivered down at Petrel for use on the ADA path. And that's so too.
Wow.
Yeah. So but then we have an invoice for a number of locations, for $2,392.19. And we also have one for $1,462.
Even?
Yeah, it says
Yep.
even, so. I don't know, which amounts to, let's see, that's, 2,400, this is 1,400, that's 3,800.
Oh, you're adding them?
Yeah, approximately $3,800.
I just to the same spot, to the same people?
There are multiple locations, but part of it is, some of it's down at,
No, is it the same vendor?
yeah, I believe they're the same vendors, yes,
Okay.
wait. They're two separate things here, so a motion to approve.
What is that for, Rob? Is that also for gravel?
These are all gravel and stone, yeah, various locations. Davison property for the ADA path up there,
So moved.
there you go.
Second.
Wow.
Discussion?
Yeah, could you summarize for us, the town purchases gravel for us, or we purchase the gravel?
For whom? For which project? Davison?
All the ones you just listed, this show.
The town is purchasing them for us,
Okay.
for use at our facilities.
So it's purchased with the town procedures. I
Yeah.
mean, what's the total amount of the bill?
So one was 2392.19, and the other was 1462.
So it's about 37, almost
$3,800.
Yeah,
$4,000.
yeah.
So I thought there was more bills, there's just 2 bills?
Well, the others actually are
They're pointing
paid
at-
for
they're-
by that grant, so they
Points of
don't come out of our
information.
budget, so.
Right.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
You're just informing us. that-
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
So there was money spent there, but it was not, doesn't come from, we don't have to pay for it, okay?
Yeah, I was just down at the Petrel lot on Monday to see if there was any progress.
I'll talk about that in a minute.
There, there is
Oh, yeah.
progress.
Oh, yeah,
There's
there's-
big piles of gravel and stone and rock.
Yeah. They're ready to go, we're just waiting on the weather to stop raining quite so much.
Yeah.
Aren't
All right, so we have a motion and a second on these. Any further discussion? In favor, everyone? Aye. Opposed? Thank you all. Okay. We have also one for Shagbark, total of $239.10, which is a miscellaneous stuff from leaf bags to some
So basically for stewardship, right?
all stewardship items. We bought some more pruners and loppers for the event, paint for marking the trails, and silk fence for the ADA path too, so which eventually will get paid for, reimbursed, whatever, so. And that totals $239.10.
Excuse me?
Reimbursed by the grant?
Yeah,
Oh, this is also reimbursed by the
well,
grant?
no,
Some of that.
some of that, I'm not gonna separate it, so.
Got it.
Okay. The land trust can write the town a check, so. or-
Okay, I'm just gonna denote it as we're
It
gonna
was-
pay the bill.
yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so a motion, please?
So moved.
Second.
Any further discussion?
Gelston Family Habit.
Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, thank you. So, we have one last bill here for $3,200, so, as you're aware, we have the Robbie Road piece, Robbie Joe Road, Joe Williams property, approximately 40 acres, that goes up at, or is it 30 acres? Well, it's in that corner there, it's, goes up and abuts the East Haddam Land Trust properties, Sokolsky, Smith et al. And there was some question as to the boundaries, there was no pins out there that we could find. there was a question of encroachment, but we needed to find the boundaries so that we could either access the properties or put a trail in or do something or do nothing. So we had Gates go out there and survey it. He did basically half of the boundaries. The issue being the other half of the boundaries are all in swamp, really, which is really wet right now. But this portion, if you can understand this, is the dry half, which is where we had the issue and had to determine where the boundaries were, the important part right now. And we ended up having an issue with one of our neighbors who was very angry about the whole thing, feels that the state might be trying to steal property. Again, excuse me, the town, thank you. My old hat got put back on my head for a minute. So, because we have the right to use the old road and multiple issues, the gentleman gathered another neighbor and they went and talked to Mr. Lyman and I'll back up. He called and complained to me. I met with him the following week with Mr. Gates, who had coincidentally surveyed the whole property, which is now Algonquin.
Trail, or whatever that's
Yeah,
called.
what is that?
By the school.
Algonquin Trail,
Yeah,
right?
I think it's Algonquin Trail.
For the Hungerford family, so he was able to, he knew where his control points were, recovered his control points, and did the survey and showed him that, we're just not encroaching on anything except that what I think happened is there was no title search was ever done when these several neighbors acquired the properties from Mr. Kasner. So, and Mr. Kasner may have written the deeds himself, I don't know, but in any event, there's an issue there. This is one reason we have surveys, and most of the property does not lend itself to a trail except the portion that goes through Mr. Hungerford's property, who has the issue. So, but in any event, we have an invoice for the work for $3,200.
So is that still an outstanding issue?
Yes, but the survey isn't, but.
No, but
So the work is the survey?
the
See, the
bill
work-
is for the
The
survey.
bill is for the survey, yeah.
That's to help settle a property boundary dispute.
Yeah, I mean, there's gonna have to be surveys, I think the town attorney is gonna have to get involved, there's a whole bunch of things. So they're not so much questioning the boundaries, because that went right from the maps. They had maps drawn, there was no pins.
The boundary's the boundary.
The boundary is as described on the town maps and in the description that was provided for the deeds. And these pieces of property include Old Joe Williams Road and more. That was somehow Mr. Kasner ended up with, and then he sold to the neighbors. So it's a bit of a sticky wicket, but Mr. Ventris has spent a lot of time, and I will forward you the entire email on the boundary issues and the title searches and the old road and everything and old maps if we want to get into it, but
That's a Conservation Commission piece?
yes, belongs to the
So
town.
if the boundaries are established, what exactly is their argument?
They don't recognize, well, I'm not sure, except that I don't think they recognize the town as potentially still owning the road and or the town or anybody else on the land trust, for example, having the right to pass and repass on the discontinued road, which is old case law. So, anyway,
Oh, so they're claiming the road.
they're claiming the road is theirs.
The whole
Also, the whole road,
whole
no one has any right to use it. We have the right to use it because we have property on both sides that connects it. So.
It sounds like a moot point.
Anyway, so it's something that will have to be resolved, but in the meantime, we have an invoice for the surveying, so.
Will it require any more surveying?
Eventually, we need to close on the two bounds, so, which will be next fall or winter or whenever, if it dries out.
Is that a reasonable price for surveying a 40-acre lot?
Yeah,
$3,200?
yeah.
Yeah.
especially in this particular case, there was a lot of wet work and everything involved, a lot of time. And again, it wasn't like they were recovering, they had to establish everything, go, so,
Obviously, we have to settle that dispute.
We need to understand a couple of things.
okay.
One, you said there's no pins,
There were no pins, but I mean, there was pins that they recovered as part of the original survey and control points, so they could determine it
Oh, from another property.
from the original properties and from the survey that was done for the adjacent land trust property, so.
So this surveyor has surveyed it, plus he pinned it?
Yes, there's pins there, because I went out and marked the boundary myself. No,
Okay, that's good. Now, pins but no monuments put up yet?
I put stakes there. There's no, I mean, the pins, you either get pins nowadays or monuments, so we got pins.
Oh, I see.
Okay.
So the pins can't be pulled?
Pins can always be pulled and monuments can always be removed,
Might as
but,
well make a bigger mess of moving mine.
yeah, but the penalty's the same, so.
When did we get this property?
We got it when they took it from eminent domain back in,
Oh, God, the
when the
60s?
high school was built.
Oh, okay.
1992.
That's bad scene.
There's more history here than I guess I want to talk about. That was not a good deal.
So, anyway,
I objected.
so, yes, it goes back that far and this was never
It
surveyed,
is now.
so.
So the
Okay, there
issue,
was a little parcel that for whatever reason ended up in Mr. Kasner's hands, which was the old road and which was on the backside of the Algonquin Trail subdivision, so.
The basic question is, the surveyor did his job.
Yeah. Yeah,
So you need a motion to pay that?
yes.
there is a motion that's been,
Who made the motion?
Second.
the Gelsons took it.
Oh, they did?
They did?
No,
No,
he moved.
I don't,
I don't think.
No,
no, no one,
you
no one
moved.
moved this one.
That was for the gravel.
Oh, I'm getting confused, sorry.
No.
I don't think
Oh, you're
anybody
right,
moved
you're
this
right, you're
one.
right, you're right.
I
Sorry,
don't
I
think-
copied
yeah,
it. You're
I
right.
make a motion.
I'm rarely wrong, that's why I had to fight it. Paul, you have it.
Paul made a motion to pay
the
this
bill.
bill. Do we have a second?
Second.
I think he seconded it.
Well, I didn't say.
Well, he did now. Okay.
Got it.
Further discussion?
I'm all set.
Hearing none. All in favor?
Aye.
I'd
Anybody
like to make
opposed?
a comment. This is another piece of property. We ran into the same problem up off Trowbridge.
Yes.
How is this happening, that we're buying properties, yet we leave slivers of property where nobody knows who owns this? How does this happen?
It's mistakes.
Right.
Mistakes made that should never be made, which is why now we get A2 surveys on everything we
Yes.
do at the right
I
time.
hope so. I hope so, because
You know that
it's
property up on Trowbridge Road, the big trade?
Yeah,
the big
for sale.
trade that's for sale now?
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
that we had to
Exactly
do,
what we said
that we
we
had
had
to, exactly what we said was gonna happen.
Yeah.
He's gonna get that property and get a good piece of land and sell it, and that's exactly what he's doing. They should
And
be
he's gonna make a
embarrassed.
lot of money,
Yes, they should be embarrassed.
Yeah.
so,
You know, he had a worthless piece of property and now he's got a good building lot.
which he'll get top money for
And
giving up virtually
Did
nothing.
the
Top of the
town
bill.
actually gain anything?
No.
No, they had a, they had the,
Lost.
they had a right to that anyways. They were using that turnaround for years.
All right, let's move on.
Just my comment.
Did you wanna leave, sir? Go to your next meeting?
Yeah, I guess I better leave. You don't need me anymore?
Well, I think I think the rest of it is
Just
stuff,
updates.
You've caused
is
enough trouble.
updates and more information, so.
Where would you be?
Before he leaves, do you want to talk about the next stewardship event?
Oh, yes, the next stewardship event. I was thinking about going back to Rose Farm and continue there. But we are also gonna have, not Rose Farm,
Roaring Brook.
Roaring Brook.
Either the gym or that meeting where we just walked by, where my Board of Finance meeting.
He's already left.
Yeah,
We're gonna go to Roaring Brook
for the next stewardship.
again for a
event.
next
I agree
stewardship.
100%.
Excellent.
Which is what, this Saturday? Was it this
The
weekend?
following Saturday, because this is Mother's Day weekend.
Oh, that's right, okay.
So,
How close are we, Rob, at Rose Farm? How close is that to being completed?
we haven't done much more probably than the last time we were there, because every time I wanted to go down there, it's been raining, so. Anyway, so,
21 days in April it rained.
huh?
Yeah,
21 days.
Yes.
Yeah.
second wettest one since 1983.
So, and, so, let's go back to subcommittee updates, if everyone is comfortable with that. So I'll do stewardship and forestry, since
Our
No, there
man
is none.
left.
He left. So a couple things, a lot of things going on, actually. So I don't know if you're aware, but at the old dump site on 149 by Salmon River, we actually have a path out to, a gravel path from the entrance there out to the point, because we got the gravel from the state that was owed to us
Finally.
Oh, for, Comer?
Okay.
for, 120 ton. So it only took 18 months, but it was reimbursed to us. Gary, you may not be aware, but the Conservation Commission, with a commitment from the state that they'd be reimbursed, provided some gravel to complete the work at the Comer State Park property, because they were at the end of their fiscal year and a whole bunch of issues, or whatever. And it finally happened that they reimbursed us, so we are even. So a couple loads were dumped down there, a couple loads were dumped down in Lena. Another load was dumped down on Rose Farm on the 82 side, and one load was dumped, stockpiled for us at the Public Works. So we've also purchased, and I haven't gotten any invoices yet, for a couple more loads of gravel down there at the old dump site, so there'll be parking and everything along the edge of the road there, so. And I was at an event with some friends, and a young man who's interested in doing an Eagle Scout project had been talking to Mr. Ventris, and we might be doing some sort of an observation structure there, and
that's
maybe a
great.
picnic table for bird watching and
Oh,
everything.
Eagles.
So this is, yeah.
We're there at the old dump site?
Yeah.
So it's a
Yep.
potential Eagle Scout project?
Yep. So, the gravel that was dumped at Rose Farm, we had 2 loads delivered there, and that path has now been, the part that goes off to the left after you go in there was gravelled, so it's it was dry to walk through there before. It was very muddy and yucky, and but we used a little tractor there to make a relatively narrow path. So
So this is at Petrel?
no, Rose Farm.
Rose Farm, okay, got it, sorry.
A number of us went down. Gary and Joe, you were there, right? When we cut, No, I'm trying to remember.
Cut the ADA path?
Yeah, recut
Yes.
it again recently.
Yes.
Yeah, okay, that's right. Trying to remember what there was. Oh, Bernie was there. That's with the other person.
Silt barrier.
So we cut that back, and we expected them to be in the next day, and of course it poured, or 2 days later, whatever it was, and it then poured the following week. So, but they are definitely coming in this Friday, no matter what, because we have to get the pollinator plants planted at the very least, because those are the most fragile, probably. But you have some small stuff, but you haven't had to water much yet, I don't think.
I just watered them today.
Yeah.
Not knowing if we were going to get a real storm tonight or just.
You
a
might or
drizzle.
might not, it might miss it, but
But yeah, I want to keep them, because when they're in the containers
Oh, they dry
pick
out.
up the rays
Yeah.
and they'll dry them out
Yeah,
pretty
yeah.
quick.
yeah. So, but they're gonna get that part done, which at Petrel is the removal of the stone walls and the retaining wall, and they're gonna grade that whole thing so that can all be planted, and that should be ready to go. And that work is gonna be done with a little help. I don't know if you're available next week.
Is the wood gone, all the stuff we cut down?
It's gonna be gone.
Okay.
Yeah, it isn't gone yet.
Yeah, it's not gone yet.
The
Well, the
following,
stuff we cut down from ages ago, yeah, that's
That's
gone.
gone?
But
Yeah.
the latest stuff that we just cut down is still there.
Okay.
but I asked them, I said, do you need us to remove it? Nope, we'll take care of it, because they have the thumb and they're just gonna
Yeah.
go along and clean up. And those brush piles and everything, they're gonna munch crunch those and move them and get rid of those too, so. They'll probably have 2 pieces of equipment down there, so they'll start doing the site work on the roughing out and de-stumping the path location and moving the stuff. And with a bigger machine, cleaning up that so we can get the flowers in there. So that's, things are finally progressing there. I walked up Davison this evening or this afternoon, between watching Aiden and Emily Sienna run. And there's at the top now a nice pad for a picnic table and or shelter or whatever gets built, whatever ends up getting built there, and the road is passable all the way. I did notice one potential problem, and I will have to talk to a neighbor, that when they put the leak off down the hill, it leaks off onto private land. So I don't think it'll be an issue, but we'll do something to address it.
I'm not gonna put that in the minutes. Do you want that in the minutes?
Yeah, I can go with them.
So what is it called, the leak off?
Leak off, yeah. It goes on the Bruce Williams property. So I have a text here from Aiden. So I'll just read it. Mr. Hedler probably told you already, but the town went into the Davison property. They fixed the hill and cleared out the 20 by 20 foot section at the top of the vista. The project is also just $5 away from being completely funded. After we clean up the rest of the loop trail, the next steps will be the clearing of the vista and the actual construction of the picnic tables, benches, and kiosk. All in all, the project is coming along quite nicely, and I just wanted to keep the Conservation Commission up to date. Thanks. So I invited him, but he said he had a track meet and school and things like that. So, and so yes. So the first to the top of the first hill there, where somebody got stuck in their truck and made ruts and everything.
Gee, who could that have been?
Must have been Todd. Had to be
Todd. He's an animal.
He's always gunning it.
So Todd.
God never takes chances.
No.
So anyway, the road is passable by. You can probably go up it with a car because they've also cleaned all the way out, going all the way to the top of the hill. So and they made a turnaround up there, which makes it really easy for me to get there now. So.
Somebody put a gate up for the
Could go up
follower.
with a car?
What's that?
Seriously, you could go up with a car?
Well, probably. I would go up in my car, but most people wouldn't do that. But anyway, it's a lease. But anyway,
It's okay. That's not the minutes.
no, thank you. So it's on video, but
In other words, translated into the.
it actually is pretty. It's once you get past that first section, which is the worst section, it isn't bad really.
So it's passable by SUV, but not ordinary car?
Yeah.
One with a higher
Road or
clearance.
something before.
What was that, Joe?
It's already a road anyway.
Yeah, they just cleaned it up. It was because they went back and forth with the bucket. They bucketed. I think they bucketed. Maybe they used a truck to get up there with the gravel. But either way, and they had the mini excavator and a big backhoe. I think went up there. So that was done. So we have also had a query from another person interested in possibly doing an Eagle Scout project early in the process. So we're getting some interest.
Might I remind you that another really good spot for an Eagle Scout project would be by the swamp on Daniels Road?
Yes.
Quite a few existing trails, there are options for a lot more. And there's a lovely plateau with a lovely vista out over the beaver house and
Yeah, the pond
the
there.
whole thing.
Yep.
Yeah,
So,
so keep that one in mind.
Yep. So progress has been made there. Now going back to the flowers, the ADA path and everything down at Petrel, Franklin Academy has 2 work days scheduled for 3 hours, the 15th and 16th, I believe. So if you would like to help, I don't have it on here, but I believe it's 15th and 16th, 9:30 to 1:30. So they'll come down with some of the students and adults supervision. So
9:30 to 1:30.
9:30 to 1:30. So, and I'll give you more details when we get close. I think that's Wednesday and Thursday. So if that works for you. So, and then
And they were going to focus on doing the pollinator garden,
correct.
if it's been graded.
Well, they said they will have it ready to go by the end of this weekend. So,
Is there any chance, I mean, if we're going to have people there, I can bring my wheelbarrow as well, and if we had some wood chips,
We can get wood chips because we have
After we
a,
plant them, we could cover it with wood chips and keep the
yes,
grass from coming
Yep,
up.
yep.
The weeds.
because if, I believe the town has plenty of wood chips, but if they don't, I have wood chips. So we can get wood chips. Last I knew, the town had a ton of wood chips, so.
3
Oh, wow.
hours already?
That was quick. Apparently, when things go well, they go well.
Okay.
So
You were
what's
gone
Fast.
11 minutes.
I know.
the worst turnout ever, right?
Uh,
What was the vote?
No comments, it's on public record, right?
Yeah.
So I'll give you the tally. Let me bring up the meeting here.
That's all right.
318 approved, 256 disapproved.
So it wasn't a mandate.
No, but it wasn't a mandate, but it was approval.
We didn't get 300 people to vote.
No,
I mean, 600 people to vote.
No,
it was about, 318,
256.
256, yeah.
less
That's-
than
that's-
600 people in a town of 9,000.
Well, it's 65 registered voters, 6,500 registered voters. Interesting. 1/10 of the people voted.
10%.
Okay. So,
Rob, have you heard anything more from Pat Young?
on which
Well,
subject?
She had also spoken about having a couple flats of something. I don't even know what she bought.
Oh, she has all the stuff for the pollinator
For the
garden.
well, I have some stuff for the pollinator garden too,
Okay.
and I can bring that stuff because some of the stuff needs full sun.
Yeah. So
that
that
stuff I figure we would put in the pollinator.
Yeah. Yes.
garden.
Exactly. Exactly.
But she's got 2 flats, and I know her husband has been ill, so I
Yeah.
don't know what's going on there.
So I
sent her an
have.
email.
She's been at meetings and everything. I've been with meetings at her, so she's
All right,
back.
so-
She's back at work. So when the time
I
comes,
can
like,
call her at work and.
oh yeah, yeah. You want her cell phone? You want her cell phone or?
Oh, I have it.
Oh, okay. Yes. Don't be afraid to call her. She's back to work.
No, I texted her and I thought
Oh,
I'd hear
oh, yeah.
from her, but I
Yeah, yeah.
didn't, so.
Yeah. So, he's undergoing treatment and everything. So,
So how many kids are we talking about from Franklin?
I think 3 or 4 kids and 2 or 3 supervisors, adults supervisors. So, They
And
have
are they good kids? I mean, can they design things themselves
No.
or will they need,
they will need supervision.
they'll need,
So the best way I would think to do it, once I don't know what was selected for plants, but I would probably you or Pat or whomever will go around and you'll take a plant and put it on the ground where you want it, here, wherever, and then they will come along and plant it. Okay, so that would be probably the most efficient and effective way to do it. Okay.
That's how my wife does it with me.
There you go.
That's not in the minutes. It's on video, but not in the minutes, Paul.
Are we surprised?
I think it's a husband thing, Paul. I could be wrong.
So you can decide how deep the hole is. No. So yeah, I mean they'll do anything you want, but I mean
Oh, God,
they're
that's
just
fantastic.
most of these kids are they have Asperger's, so they often have focusing problems and things like that. But
all right, what about tools? What about shovels and spades? And,
they will often come with stuff. They have stuff, but we can always supply whatever you need. I mean, so
okay.
we meaning the conservation.
Are you gonna be there?
I will probably be there for part of the time anyway. Maybe the whole time. I don't know.
Then if you could bring some tools as
Yeah.
well from
Yep.
the town, that would
Yep.
be helpful.
Oh, yeah.
I'll bring some,
Yeah.
I'll bring what I have.
Yeah. So, yep. So, well, like I said, when we get closer, I'll have I'll have a better idea of what the numbers are, and and the plan. So, and if we get there at 8, we could start putting stuff out fairly, however you want it. So,
Yeah.
so, but Steve Hedler, who's the foreman for the Public Works, has said he knows the issue now. He knows he has to have it done, and so but up there it's he doesn't have to worry about being anywhere near wetlands or mud issues or anything up there, so he can move along pretty quickly there. So
But isn't he gonna save that stone?
the stone is going to be saved, but it's going to be stockpiled somewhere, but it's not going to be on site, so I'm getting it off site. So, and then the concrete will either be buried. There's a drop off we want to fill so we can mow it better in the field. That will either be near where I cut that tree down, that last dead oak down there. It'll either be near there or they'll bring it back and they have a place for stuff like that at the shop, so.
Is there a place of erosion we want to stop from being eroded?
Not at the moment, no. Not in there anyway, so.
The other place?
That's probably, the problem, it depends how it gets broken up. I don't really like using concrete for stuff, but
Yeah, do I.
for that kind of stuff.
So it's old concrete too, probably get pretty powdery pretty quick.
Yeah, so,
Well, you know, they could take that concrete and they could take it up to the fallout shelter that's up there.
Oh, yeah.
Fill that in.
yes,
because I
that's
think
on the list,
just-
that's on the list to
Oh,
be
yeah.
taken care of, yeah.
That's a good idea.
Yeah. I will bring that up to them, that it might be, because that, we want to knock the whole thing, break it down in, and while they're there, and
Very good idea.
Yeah.
clean that up, bury it, I mean,
Putting
just
that
bury
in
it,
minutes,
so.
right?
Good idea, Gary.
I have one more question
Yep.
about the planting. I was thinking all the plants would be spread around all of the blacktop, all the macadam, not just the new part that's being built.
No, we're gonna concentrate them there, so.
We're gonna concentrate them there.
Yeah, yeah. So it's gonna be like a big garden.
But you don't want it to be like a big garden, Rob. You want it to look like a natural environment. So that's why you spread them out a little.
Yeah, but I don't know how
I
many.
mean, a pollinator garden, for sure, that's gonna be like a garden. But the other plants.
Oh, the other plants, no.
Spread around everywhere where the blacktop is, right?
Well,
All the way
it's
down
gonna,
to
it's
the
gonna be
bridge.
along the ADA path primarily because that's part of the grant. Because but yes, we can put them
That
other
ADA
places.
goes down to the bridge, right?
Well, not to the bridge per se, just, the whole path does. So yes, in answer to your question, we don't have to just put them where we're doing the site work. We can spread them in that whole area,
Okay.
yes. And what the other plan was that there's some stuff we would like to eventually move and or bring up and, maybe transplant. So like some of the blueberries or something like that, get them up by the pavement and everything. So,
Blueberries, yeah, bayberry, if you have any.
yeah,
got
we
some
have bayberry, we have
as well.
blueberry, we have, sweet fern, I mean, there's a lot of that stuff down there, so.
Blueberry down there.
So, and we can also always spend some money and get some more plants too if we need, so.
Now, is that field gonna be mowed?
Yeah, it gets mowed annually, so,
So if you wanted to plant something like a shadblow bush
yeah,
in the middle of the field
Yeah.
as a specimen,
we put
is
stakes
that
around
gonna
it.
get mowed
No,
over the
no,
next time the
no.
guys come through?
No, we put stakes around or flag it so they know.
Put stakes
Yeah,
on it.
because when they did the lower meadow down by the river,
Yep.
they mow around the, bayberry and, blueberries and things out there. They don't mow over them, so they're cognizant enough of what's there to not.
I mean,
I
I just
told
wanna
them to say
make,
that.
I know it's a pain in the neck to mow around all this.
Yeah, I'm not gonna put a lot of stuff out there because it gets, after a certain point, then it's counterproductive to do any mowing because you turn it into a whole brushy area. But the idea is, in that area has always been to try and maintain part of it as a semi-open field because we have both tree swallows and bluebirds in the boxes there, which is ideal habitat for them, which we saw. And the part down by the river gets a lot of warblers in it. Because of the speckled alder that's down there. But we always see a lot of blue-winged warblers down there, which is a great spot if you want to see blue-winged warblers.
Didn't we see one over?
What's that?
Didn't we see one a couple of weeks ago? Or when we were over there?
What do we see
parking
down
lot.
there?
We saw swallows.
Swallows.
That was
That was
swallow.
swallows, tree swallows, yeah. So, what else you got? Good?
Yeah.
Okay, good. So, hungry?
Yes.
No desserts.
I need to know what to bring down.
Yeah, yeah.
I've got it all up on my
Yeah.
lawn right now.
Yeah. You and Pat can decide, figure that out, discuss that out, make it.
Yeah, I'll give her a call.
Yeah, okay. All right, so, the next work party will be at Roaring Brook. We'll continue with the boundaries and we'll continue with the second loop trail there and we'll paint that one we've put in already, so.
Say work party, you mean
Stewardship.
stewardship, there's a regular stewardship.
Yeah, regular stewardship.
It'll be the boundaries, and what was the last thing you said?
The trails and painting the trails.
And painting the trail, thank you.
Trails there, but there's no, it's not blazed.
Okay, perfect, thank you.
Okay. Everyone by now should have seen the article in the quarterly magazine, and So let's go to planning and zoning updates. What do you got, Joe? Besides the plan of conservation and development.
Besides that, we have a bunch of things scheduled to go to public hearing the 28th of May. There's on 29 Daniels Road, Winthrop and Carolyn, up till trustees re-subdivision of 2 lots. Apparently they're dividing that.
29 Daniels Road?
Yes, 29 Daniels Road.
Oh, is that the fields?
I'm not exactly
Okay.
sure where it's located on Daniels.
Is it a hearing or just the first
It's going
submission?
to public hearing for that.
Have you had the first submissions already?
Yeah, they just talked about it at the last meeting and scheduled it for public hearing, so. It's the second meeting of May, so we'll probably talk about it more.
That was 29 Daniels?
Yes. And on Commerce Drive, Scully Land Development LLC, special exception review to construct a commercial building for warehouse and retail as accessory use. It's also going to public hearing the 28th. 40 Johnsonville Road, Iglesia Ni Cristo Church of Christ, special exception review to convert an existing 5-bedroom residence into a religious seminary. Again, I
What was
believe
the address on that one?
40 Johnsonville Road. And there's a public hearing that is continued to for Shagbark.
Mm-hmm.
Still going. They have a kind of a issue with parking apparently, so they need to solve that in my.
So there's there's 4 items for the May 20th public hearing. Okay.
Yes. No, 3 items.
Oh, so it's 29 Daniels, Commerce Drive, and then the Johnsonville Road. Those are the 3.
Yes.
And then Shagbark. What's going on with
It's a
Shagbark?
continuation.
Would-
So there is 4 technically, but it's
Oh.
a continuation.
Oh, okay.
So there are 4
That one's continued to the 14th.
Yeah, that's on the 14th though, sorry.
on May 14th. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that public hearing started on April 23rd. So,
So it's a Shagbark review for expansion.
yes.
Yeah, they want to add a 40 by 100 foot building.
So it's the public hearing will continue, right?
Yes.
Correct.
The public hearing is going to be continued to May 14th. Next meeting. Still going, so.
Okay. Anything else, Joe?
Nope. That's it.
Do we have a hearing date or anything on the plan of conservation development? You have a draft, but nothing yet on
I
that?
wasn't at that meeting.
Okay, okay. Thank you. All right, so that's the IWWC and P&Z update, stewardship event, ADA path and planting. Like you said, there's a lot of stuff stockpiled down there, ready to go. They're gonna start stumping and everything this Friday, rain or shine, stumping the path. But because the concern last time was supposed to be really heavy rain on Saturday and Sunday, so they didn't want to open everything up. Now it's going to at least be nice on Saturday, though it's supposed to rain Mother's Day night or something.
The
So,
ground is full of moisture though.
oh yeah, there's water everywhere. So,
I
But,
got stuck on my billy goat. On the
really?
edge of my hayfield, yes. It's wet, I've never seen it this wet.
Yeah, yeah. Someone was saying they were golfing somewhere and they've never seen it wet where they were golfing and they were covered in mud.
Yeah, that's what I got.
Yeah, yeah.
You walk out in the hayfield and
Squish.
you hear squish, squish, it's like walking on a sponge.
Yep.
You know, the thatch is there, but underneath is water.
We just got some more.
And you get,
Well,
yeah.
we're-
And it looked like we were going to get some more tonight and we're going to get some more Thursday into Friday, so.
And Sunday too.
And Sunday night, right. All right, there's no additional bills. Money-wise, where are we at here? So, we will probably have to use for Essex Design for future mapping. Not Essex Design, sorry. Essex Printing for future mapping or when our maps
Yeah.
for like Roaring Brook, etc. I think Roaring Brook, once people find out about it and get in there and start using it,
Yeah.
it's going to be very, very popular.
Yeah.
It looks really good with all the rain we're getting.
Yeah. So we're still a little under 9,000, but we're going to, as you can see, we're going to eat that up very rapidly here. So And that's in our regular budget, that's not the capital, but
So there's still 9,000 left?
as of right now, but, you know, we take 3,200 off and whatever else we have here will come off of that, so. I've also ordered a lot of the 3x8x16, because I think we're gonna be building a lot of swamp walks, so.
Yeah, for sure. Based on a few boats.
So I ordered another unit, I don't know where they are, I'll have to check on it. And I was looking at something today, I was at Home Depot today, and they have this, it's lath, wire lath that they use for plastering. It's 27 inches wide, 8 feet long, costs $10 and change. $10.75. What it looks like here. You can take a look at it, pass it around. You can kind of see what it is.
Oh,
But
yeah, like expanded metal.
it's expanded metal. And what Middlesex Land Trust has been using, and it seems like a really good idea, is on some of their bridges and stuff where they're really never in the sun and they tend to get greasy.
Yeah, from the mold.
They put this down on it, and from the mold and whatever.
Yeah.
And the wood itself isn't rotting; it's just on the surface. But this provides a good surface for people to. You guys want to look at?
Yes.
And I was thinking about getting some and trying it on some of the locations and see what
Just tack it down.
it
So
gets
it's
tacked
more,
down.
it's more for traction than.
Yeah, it's for traction. So you don't.
Can you walk on it
Great on
barefoot?
a slippery walk.
I wouldn't.
Well,
Because Mike's been really
Deck
careful walking
surface.
barefoot.
For, like the walkways.
yeah, it's lath. It's almost like a tiny mesh, but.
Is it, it's galvanized?
Yes, yeah. It has to be because it's,
Set in the mortar?
it goes in, it goes in wet plaster, so it'd be rusting right through if it did. So, that was the first thing I said, because we don't want it rotting and rusting off and becoming more of a danger with a lot of sharp things sticking up. So, anyway, it might be, I was thinking about trying it, getting a few pieces to try in a couple different spots, so.
How long is it?
8 feet.
Oh,
96 by 27 by 1/8 inch, so. But like I said, I saw it, they had it on several of their footbridges, and seemed like a very logical thing to
Yeah.
try.
It's self-draining.
Self-draining, yeah, so.
Do you have anywhere you're planning on sticking it? Or?
Well, we already have the 160 feet of bog bridge out there in Pizzini. The bridge at Sheepskin, at Petrel doesn't need it, but we may want it on that section where we're putting the bog walk on at Rose Farm. And especially on the ramps going up,
yeah, the ramps
So-
might need it.
so they don't slip.
Ramps.
I hate to, go ahead.
None of these bridges are the ones that allow horses on them, right?
No,
Because
no.
it would not be a good idea for a bridge that horses could cross.
no horses.
Yeah.
No horses on these.
What about the one at Sabine? Does that need it? That bridge that you guys had to move?
That one I've got to check, because the Beaver had done, but it'd be that type of bridge we would use it on, so. Todd, you were gonna say something?
I hate to put cold water, a good idea, but
Well,
say somebody's bringing a little child with them,
Yeah.
walking, and if the child stumbled and fell on this with his face
it's
in
not
the
that
air,
sharp.
would it hurt him?
Well, I don't know, I've heard of any worse than falling on anything else. I mean, you end up with a scrubbed knee probably, I'm sure. But the thing is, you're gonna try and balance this between
Slipping period.
slipping
Yeah.
because it's greasy from the mold and mildew as opposed to this on it, so.
We'd only do it in areas where there's
Yeah.
no sun getting in there.
Yeah, so,
Right.
or where it's gonna be very prone to constantly wet conditions, like at Rose Farm there.
Yep.
So,
Yeah.
you can try it, take a look at it, and then,
We'll have to try it.
Do a couple of test pieces?
so, okay.
Oh, let's put a sign up. Like young
Curb your child?
Yeah, young children. be
Curb your
careful.
child.
Do not slip and fall, just give them a heads up. to him.
yeah.
Walk your child through the brook.
Yes, exactly.
You can walk across.
That's what you do.
Stay off bridge if lightning storm.
Oh, yeah.
So, just going back, I did mark the boundary on that property on Joe Williams Road and, Mr.
The Robbie Road one? That's
Robbie
the-
Road and Joe Williams, and, there was another, I'm fretting against something. Oh, out on Harris, I've asked, there's a piece of property which is right next to Ms. Goyette's house that we've been talking about for quite some time, clearing, before it gets any brushier. Mostly it's a lot of ailanthus and other invasive species in there, autumn olive, and we wanted to put some stuff in there and maybe put some white pines or something in to clean it up and maintain it as a field. But the town talked to Michael Zaki. He doesn't feel the town can, or the town bush hog will mow it. Some of it's fairly good size, so we're gonna get a price on it from Moore and Logging to just come in and with a big machine and crunch it down. So
You hydroax?
hydroax, something like that. So once it's down, then it's easy to mow. But
Then you gotta pull up the roots, right? You gotta rake the roots with a bulldozer blade.
no, you can just go in.
Cut 'em?
No, it just shatters everything. Then you can use the bush hog on it. So
Oh, I see. All right.
so then you can keep mowing it. Whatever is left over will just go back into the ground, rot away. But it
Okay.
actually not a lot of stuff to sprouts because it's so badly excuse me, shattered by the work. So.
Yeah, okay.
So, and we may look at while he's here, a job at a land trust property too, but anyway, that's that. We may have to, down at Lena, there's 2 or 3 lots there that could probably use that machine too, to keep them as fields. One as you go into the left,
Yeah, for sure, the one on the left, for sure.
yeah, and so.
Because Sam was wanting to mow that lot.
Yeah, so he mowed the one up front, right on the corner, he keeps mowing that, but that one that in there,
That's pretty rough.
that's gotten,
So he can mow that once we hydroax it. He
yeah,
can mow it.
he said he'd keep mowing it, so,
That'd be nice.
so,
Do something for the deer to feed on.
yeah, like, 'cause we need to keep them happy, so. Okay, since we have no public comment.
Can I just interrupt you?
Yes.
So it's Harris and it's Petrel, and what were the other properties that you mentioned?
Lena.
Harris, Petrel. That's it? It's just those 3?
Yeah, our properties.
Okay.
Okay, so we have 2 bits of, okay, the next meeting is June 4th, here. We have 2 bits of correspondence. We have, if anyone is interested in this, we have Connecticut Wildlife, anyone? Okay. So I'll jump at once. But we also have Aquarian Water Company, Stewards of the Environment, and this is a reminder. As the May 1 nomination deadline for this year's Aquarian Environmental Champion Awards approaches, we want to send a friendly reminder to encourage you to consider nominating an individual, businesses, or nonprofit organization that has contributed to the improvement of our environment through the protection, conservation, restoration, or stewardship of Connecticut's natural resources. Winners in the program Small Business, Large Business, Adult Communications, or Nonprofit Organizations category will have the opportunity to select an environmental nonprofit to receive a $2,500 grant given in their name by Aquarian. The winner of the student category, grades 9 to 12, will receive a $1,000 award. Awards will be presented at a special celebration to be held June 1st, 2019 at Connecticut's Beardsley Zoo. Thank you in advance. So these is actually a pretty fast turnaround. I have to go back and look at this. Is this something we want to do or look at? We have 3 weeks to do it. No, we don't. It's after May.
Oh,
Forget that one.
All right.
I thought it said June 1st. Nope. Never mind.
Wow, that's a good way to address it.
Next year. And then there's a notice of tentative determination to approve the NPDES permit renewal for the town of East Haddam regarding the sewage treatment plant. Which I'm sure no one has any objection to. And Denise Rizika, director, Water Planning and Management Division, so.
Why they send that to us?
It goes, well, in a lot of towns, we're also the wetlands, IWWC.
Yes.
And Conservation Commission, so, and we are still listed under the whole thing as that part of it, so. Of course, Denise lives right on Creamery Road, so,
Oh, sure.
Oh, really?
yeah. So, well, she did, I'm assuming she still does, so, unless she moved, I don't know. Anyway, authorizing the discharge up to an annual average daily flow of 55,000 gallons a day of secondary treated municipal wastewater to the Connecticut River. We're not producing anywhere near that.
Can I just copy that?
Yes, you can.
document? Thanks.
All right, let me just go back over the minutes. There was something I saw in there I wanted to comment on. We got the gravel. We haven't done anything yet with East Haddam Youth and Family Services, but we're still planning on doing something there. We've been in contact with them. I didn't hear any complaints about the sandwiches from Haddam Country Market.
Hey, they were pretty good.
All right, thanks, Ron.
And we actually had a fairly good turnout at What Birds Need Year Round. That was done by the Lime Forest Block IBA and done by the Audubon, Connecticut. So, and townwide cleanup brought in quite a bit of garbage.
We picked up, we went from Shanigan Road to the Palmer State Forest, to the Rock. 235 cans and bottles.
Wow.
In a year. We just picked it up last year.
Wow.
235. Just from Shanigan Road to the Rock at Comer. 235 bottles and cans.
Yeah, what is wrong with people?
I was like, that's not even a quarter mile. It was like an eighth of a mile. I couldn't believe it.
That we're everywhere, unfortunately.
No, there were no tires this year though, so it was good stuff.
The biggest thing I see picking up is nips.
Yeah.
We didn't
Same
have
here.
everywhere.
Too.
Everywhere.
Yeah.
Most
have
of it
a
is
lot of those.
alcohol related.
The same
that?
nips.
Most of the trash is alcohol related.
It's amazing, they're at the same location.
Yeah.
Some guy going home,
Yes.
run away and throwing out the window,
Captain
same
Morgan.
spot.
It's Captain
in my
Morgan.
yard.
Yeah.
You got the same problem.
In your,
Don't you want to put up a camera and see if you can catch this?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. That'd be
Or
great.
DNA test it?
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
$3,200 to DNA test nips.
A bunch of alcoholics out there.
well, I used to have them all the time at my house on Great Hillwood. Obviously, they'd stop it down there at Moose's Package.
Yeah.
Yep.
Come up.
And
On the
took
way
that
home.
took that long to get home to chug a lug it down and then
Yep.
bring it out. So.
Yeah.
and open containers are illegal here, aren't they?
Yeah.
So what the hell's the problem with carrying, just throw it in the trash at home?
So we were going down,
They don't want mama to find out.
what is that? Is that East Haddam Colchester Turnpike? What is that? Plains? Is that Falls Basin Road that comes in there at the corner there?
Where
so
again?
just East Haddam Colchester Turnpike.
Yeah.
So between Falls Basin and Basin Road,
Yeah, yeah.
there was a group of women, like 2 or 3 women, because we were driving out to do something, and they had walked the side. They must have had 19 bags. They were full, and the length of this table, there was another bag. I couldn't believe how much it looked so great though that they picked it up. So
So,
it seemed to be really popular this year. We got a lot of
we've
people
seen
out there,
quite a few people, and the food was always good. A lot of food was over there at if you went to the Sportsman's Club. Checking the date here. So, last thing I'm going to bring up is, since we won't meet beforehand, I don't think, is Trails Day, which we will be meeting after. So, June 1st and 2nd, there's the annual Trails Day event. I think we have 3 or 4 events going on in town. I'm going to lead one at Hatch Lot. So, and then in the afternoon, I'm going to lead one at Harris with Representative Haynes. So, somehow or other they figured It's gonna be 5 miles.
So where
Harris.
is it? Where is it? What's the first one in the morning?
Hatch lot.
At Hatch?
It's actually in the afternoon, but hers is late afternoon, so.
Oh, so they're both.
They're both in the afternoon, yeah.
Okay.
But there's two other events ongoing by other groups in
So
town.
it's Hatch lot, and then what was the second one at Harris? You said?
Harris, yep.
Those Hatchlot bridges might need some grading. Possibly.
Yeah, that's, and then, this would be actually a good time to assess if they need them to see, if they're greasy now, they'll only get greasier.
The plants at the hatch lot are doing very well, by the way.
Yes, they are. I stopped to look at them the other
And
day.
the Phragmites are coming back.
Of course, but,
I keep that cut back.
yeah, so, all right.
So the trail walk, do you get a good turnout for that?
Yeah, sometimes we get a really good turnout for
That's
them.
a good
What day
time
is
to
that?
let people know about the next stewardship event.
Absolutely.
What day is the trails event?
I believe they're both on the 1st.
Okay.
But there's, I didn't bring any with me. I just got another package of stuff in today, but you'll start seeing the little pamphlets at various locations around town, so. I know there's some at Jurassic Cats. I think there was some at the pharmacy. I think there's some down at Haddam Country Store. So maybe at Shagbark usually has some around, so. Anything else for the good of the order?
Yeah, question about the state forest down in Lyme.
Nahantic State Forest?
Niantic.
Yep.
I was giving a talk up in East Hampton on invasive plants
Mhm.
last week, and somebody said, "Well, what are they doing down there at Niantic? Because they're doing some kind of controlled burns." Have you heard anything about that?
So, at the beginning of the forest, and there's 3 sections of Nahantic.
Mhm.
They're probably talking about the one in Lyme, which is so-called Tanny Hill Block, or the Hamburg Block. And the beginning of the property, if you go down about a quarter mile, there's a big sign. And they've been, for about 30 or 40 acres there, they've been burning a section of it for years, every 2 or 3 years. And what they're trying to replicate there is what the forest looked like when the first colonists came. So and the Native Americans used to burn the forest. So in that particular area, they're basically creating a forest similar to what would have been seen when the first colonists got here.
They burn the brush,
Yeah, they burn.
trees stay.
Yeah, well, they burn everything, but I mean.
Yeah, the trees.
Yeah, the trees.
Yeah, I mean, the question came back, were they trying to control some of
No.
the invasives?
No, not.
And I don't imagine when it grows back, it's gonna look anything like it was when the colonists first came, because that's what you're gonna end up with. You're gonna get all the.
Well, they
invasives.
keep burning it. They
No,
They keep burning
Have you
it.
seen it?
No, I haven't.
It's, you should go see it. No, it doesn't have. It's really lovely.
Is
Yeah,
it?
Yeah,
yeah.
it is.
It's a lot of ferns.
Lots
a
of
lot of
ferns.
ferns. But they periodically burn it to
Yep.
keep that. And I mean, they do other control burns down there too, but it's primarily for vegetation control to allow reproduction of oaks and whatever. So depending on the situation, what they're trying to do. So, and they do a number of burns in a number of places in state forests. So they did one for reproduction of, wasn't tulip? Maybe it was tulip. I don't know, but they do, quite a few of those things. But that's primarily what that one is about. And there's a big sign that explains the whole thing. So I'm out of it now, but I mean, when I was in charge at the Nahantic, we were doing it every 3 years or so. So, and it looked a lot different when we started than it does
Oh,
now.
yeah.
A lot different. So, in that
It's
particular area isn't that nice a particular section of forest anyway. It's kind of wet, and I don't know if you could get anything to burn there with napalm. I don't know if it would burn right now, but
I'd like to burn some of that barberry bush with napalm.
Yeah.
Everywhere.
I think you need a permit for that.
the napalm or burning.
The napalm.
So yeah, it is a problem, and it's really bad. And now when it first comes out, because it gets out ahead of everything else, that's all you see in the forest. So,
That's all.
but that's the story there.
Okay, well, thank you for that. And
It
there was
is
just an
primarily has
article-
nothing to do with the invasives, but it
Somebody
is.
at UConn just came out with an article or research saying that they found that forests that have a lot of barberry bush are 14 times more likely to carry the deer tick.
Oh yeah,
Right.
yeah. We've
And
done.
they've done some quantification of it.
Well, actually, that's been they probably added on to previous things. We had on our website, on the Land Trust website, where we actually worked with the Agriculture Experiment Station out of New Haven, and down here, and we used Brainerd Homestead State Park down here in Creek Row, and we went through various methods, and they went through a whole bunch of research, and that is the preferred habitat for deer ticks. It's moist, it stays warm, and it also stays cool. Warm during the winter, cool, because it's, it's the perfect place, and the deer go through and they just leap onto it, and they, their eggs and everything. It is a phenomenal habitat.
I think it protects the mice as well from.
Well, it's multiple things. That's part of it, yes, and so all those things work to the advantage of the tick. So.
This is the barberries?
Yeah,
Japanese barberry.
We have a lot of it.
Wow.
That's why I cut every time chance I get. Well, I'm thinking the same thing the Indians were thinking. I think I'm just gonna burn it. And buy one of those tanks. And
Well, actually, we have one. The Conservation Commission has one.
burn it.
Yeah.
We would love to have the time to work on doing that, so.
So it's overwhelming. I think you need to have mechanical. There needs
So
to be
the
a
best way
mechanical to do
to,
it.
so what has been very successful with it is you brush cut it. So you just have the root collar and you burn that.
Yeah.
And that is really effective at killing
Control
it.
the fire.
We also have a honeysuckle pepper. that we can-
And we also have the thing for popping it out, but there's,
You need an awful lot of.
Popping all
Todd,
day.
now's the time to do it because it's so
Popping all
wet.
day.
Vietnam does come to mind.
But now's the time to do it if you're gonna burn it because it's so wet. You won't
Yeah.
you won't burn your neighbor's house down.
A little excavator with that opposable thumb.
Take it out.
Teeny little excavator.
yeah, so we could use our little, brush cutter and go in and mow and then go right behind it, well, far enough behind so we don't burn the operator, but, with our little torch thing and go
Or you could paint it with Roundup as well if you do it in the fall.
Yeah.
Be
Bad
careful
for the
about
environment though.
Well,
Even worse than having.
So we're finding.
I don't know if it's worse than the Barbary.
Oh man, that guy is really upset.
He's angry.
His face.
He's angry.
He doesn't care if he dies as long as he kills the barbarian.
Cover it in tar. Just
Yeah, put it
The
covered in
thing that
tar.
you use to
Burn it for-
burn, it's
burn it
just
for
spot
days.
burning, right? So-
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
it's
So
a little
it-
like a little flame thrower.
Right, so
Flamethrower.
you
Propane.
go along burning and it extinguishes after.
Got a
you-
backpack,
Sure.
Right.
Yeah.
10-pound
So-
backpack.
Yeah, you're just,
It'll
it's
come
very
back.
How long would
concentrated
it
right
take
there.
you to do
And
3
if you do
acres?
it right, you actually watch
3
the whole
acres?
plant.
Or you want to try it on your
turn,
3
yeah,
acres or?
turn.
No,
Like
no,
it's
no,
done.
I got all mine cleared.
Oh, okay.
Got it.
Say again?
I just yanked
It
it out.
depends how thick it is. That's I had to put that qualifier. I mean, you can actually, if you have somebody mowing it and go along fairly quickly, you can burn a lot of it pretty quickly. So.
Yeah.
Funny thing is, barberry never used to be here. When I was a kid, barberry was unheard of.
Nope.
It came in about the early mid-60s and just took off. But over my place, for the last 10 years, it kind of diminished. I'm not sure why. But this year, it's raging. It's coming back
All the rain.
fivefold. So it must like moisture.
Oh, I think it does.
But it's come back like
And
crazy.
there's another thing happening. A lot of the overstory has died,
Oh, yeah, with
and
the
there's
oaks.
more sunlight getting down to it.
Good point.
So.
Good point.
Take a couple days
Plant
off. I know what
trees.
you're doing.
How about we remove the barberry at the elementary school and donate a couple of those plants you guys have
So they
to
what?
fill the spots? Well, they have 100 and something plants. So.
But that's all for the ADA planning.
That's for ADA.
Can't use
Yeah,
any of
that was, no, we got that with
We
grant
gotta-
money for the,
yeah.
Yeah.
the trail lot.
So. Anyway,
We could find another brand
Alright, are
somewhere.
we,
Huge barberries.
unless there's anything else for the good of the order, we're adjourned.
Good.
We don't have to move and second and vote on it?
no, we don't.
That's a fallacy.
Right.